Well, hi, everybody. This is DearMamaSal, and it's Sunday, and it's Sunday afternoon, which means it is time for us to think about coping with stress. For those of you who are new to the broadcast or watching it on the replay, very big welcome to you. DearMamaSal is a group of people, not just me, it's a group of people who get together 3 times a week, twice on a Friday. I'm going to give you times in Pacific times. First one is at noon on a Friday, where we talk about coping with our feelings, and then we do another one at 3:30 Pacific on a Friday, which is coping with life, and then this one on a Sunday afternoon, we do coping with stress. It's basically a way to just chill out a bit before the coming week. And hi there to Jeannie and to Jody, and it's good to see that you're here, and to welcome you all on this rather unusual Thanksgiving weekend. I'm certain that it's been a different weekend for everybody. Now, I'm in Canada, so we already had our Thanksgiving a month ago. But I am aware that this has been a very different Thanksgiving weekend for everybody in the States. But I'm certain that you have adjusted, and I am certain that you've done the best you could. And I know that a lot of you have thought about how to help those less fortunate. At this time, I'm having a lot of thought about what about the homeless now? Not only are they going to be colder, but they're also, COVID is undoubtedly affecting them. And, that's not so easy to be that sick if you are, curled up in an alleyway somewhere. So think about that. All right. So hi, Sandy. Good to see you as well. And congratulations, Sandy. I've noticed you've been doing a really good job with your sleep. It's improving beautifully. And we've noticed that, when you start being accountable every day, you are more aware, and I guess you've noticed that, Sandy, that you're more aware of how many hours you are sleeping or not sleeping and making adjustments. I just wanted to let you know that I don't know if any of you had any achievements this weekend, but I did. And some of you know that I've been busy working the We Fit program. Hang on a second. This thing. I managed to pick up a secondhand We Fit, and I've been using it. And I just wanted to tell you, because I think it's such a great analogy for life. When I first fired up this thing 2 weeks ago, just over now, there was one balance exercise, which was like a skiing slalom thing, where you're going like this. And the first time I tried to do it, I nearly killed myself. I had to get a chair so I could balance, because there is no way I could do that without having something to balance with. And I gave myself permission that with all these exercises, if I need a chair to balance, I'm going to do it. Because it's not about using a chair, it's about, am I using the muscles? And the chair is only there so that it's not dangerous for me. Make sense? So that first time first of all, I tried it without a chair, and then realized I didn't have the strength to be able to do it. So then I got a chair just to lean on, and that was fine. Even then, I failed miserably. And then after about a week, maybe a bit more, I realized that I was getting a lot better at it. And the funny thing was that today I actually did it without the chair and got my second best score. Now, imagine how that felt. Within the space of 2 weeks, I'd built up enough core strength to be able to do this exercise and to beat the best score I had when I was using a chair to balance. So I really felt good about that. The other thing was I did a sort of what they call the basic run, the longer one. And a week ago, I really struggled to do that. Today, I did it without even thinking. And when I say without even thinking, it was just like, yeah, I can do this. I now know if I want to use up, I work on doing anything at all in the program, but as long as I do 30 minutes a day. So it doesn't matter whether I'm doing strength or yoga or balance or whatever it is, I don't get tied up into what I have to do. It's like you can pick anything you like out of any of those categories, but you do 30 minutes. And the interesting thing was, and I want you all to think about this, that there's one thing that they have there, which is a boxing thing, that requires that you move forward off the Wii balance board. You move forward off it and then back onto it again, which is, funny enough, much more difficult than coming backwards and then onto it again. Does that make sense? You're going forward off it and then coming back onto it. And it's like you're stepping up backwards. Now, I want to tell you, the first time I did this boxing thing, I failed horribly. I could not get the rhythm right. I couldn't get anything about it right. And again, today, I did 10 minutes of the boxing, which, by the way, is quite aerobic. And I was shocked at how well I did. I got my best score ever. And it wasn't that I was trying. It was just, I've got enough rhythm going now and everything else that it's working. So the point that I'm trying to make here is, do you understand that in each of these things about which I'm speaking, they were stressful for me a week ago? Does that make sense? But a week of commitment and refusing to quit and not beating up on myself. It's like, hey, you don't have to beat yesterday's, just keep doing it until you've done 30 minutes. That's all you need to do. Just having the right self-talk, it took all the stress away from it. And it just, I thoroughly enjoy that 30 minutes now. It's part of my morning routine. And I do it before my second cup of coffee. It's like I have my first cup and do the emails, and then I do my exercise, because then I can go and shower, have my second cup. Oh, and excuse me 1 second, people. I got a delivery.
Hi, you had a delivery. I'm so sorry. He gave me the wrong box and I accidentally opened it. I'm so sorry.
No, she does.
I'm so sorry. I didn't even look at it. That doesn't look like caramel to go in my. Oh, lucky. I thought it was my book, and I went, yeah, it's my book. So sorry, we got mixed up.
Appreciate it.
Okay, bye.
Okay, sorry about that, everybody. Yes, halt time indeed. Now then, I just want to let you know that I particularly asked that they didn't do any delivery on Sunday, and they did, of course. But interestingly enough, they delivered it to one of my neighbors, who very kindly brought it up for me. So did you hear what's in it? Unboxing. Did you hear what's in it? Okay, so here it is. It looks like a bottle of wine, but it isn't. I know you guys love it. Yeah, but it's interesting when you put special delivery instructions and they totally ignore them. So there we go. For my coffee. Now, I've never had this, and this is all Sandy and Jodie's fault, because they got me onto these things. But what I also did, you brought the vanilla? Okay, I've never had the salted caramel, but I'm pretty sure. Okay, I'm not going to be happy unless I can taste it. Did you buy the pump as well? I bought the pump to go with it, but that's in another room right now. Oh, this is not easy. You gathered that, right? Wow. I guess I won't be tasting it live. That's amazing. Hold on one second. Plan B. So just put it down, Sal, and forget about it. Yeah, right. You know I'm not going to do that. So hold on one second. So the point that I was trying to make about the exercise stuff is, it is an exercise in patience and understanding. Okay, I can't do that. I'm going to have to heat it up. It is definitely about how you do life. Do you have the patience, or do you try it once, find it difficult, and then say, okay, I'm not going to do that because it's too difficult? And let me ask you something. When you give up on yourself like that, how stressful is it? I want you to think about that, because if you only try things once and go, that's too difficult, I'm not going to be able to do that, then you're giving up on yourself. You see, when I do these things, the first time I tried it, I literally went, wow, that requires a little bit of concentration. And okay, that's all right. Sandy's saying that she's going to be away from the keyboard, but she's going to pop in with a comment every now and then. All right, thanks, Sandy. So here's the thing that I found is that, to me, I just go, wow, that's not easy to do. So therefore, I need a lot of practice with that. You see, that's really the one I need to be doing every day, because it's difficult for me. And what I found difficult with the boxing thing was the fact that I had to get on and off the balance board backwards. And I had some fear, excuse me, it's getting a bit warm now. I had some fear about whether I would, trip going backwards. But the answer is, if you step properly, you don't trip. And it's really amazing with the boxing. It requires, that you walk forward and you punch in a certain rhythm, and then you get back on the board on a certain rhythm back, so it's a lot of things. There's as I talked about the other day, there's another exercise that requires that you not only step on and off the board, but you also step sideways. And I want to tell you, that really floored me the first time I did it. And it took me about a week to get it right. But I did get it right. And now I can do it. And so you look at it and you go, are you prepared to do things until they're not stressful? It's hard at first, absolutely. And so, Sandy, the reason I'm so happy that you've got yours out of, wherever you had it hidden, is because I really know how important it is to support one another doing something like this. Now, the other thing that I wanted to say was, an awful lot of these sort of exercises you could do, without having the Wii Fit console or the Wii console and the Wii Fit disc. But most people won't do it. If you go online, there are plenty of exercise routines that are online free today. But most people won't do them. So I can remember one of the funniest things with me is I remember in the days when Weight Watchers first came out with their videos. Do any of you remember that far back? And they had a whole set of Weight Watcher videos, exercise videos. And I remember getting the set. Pat's saying that she loves her Wii Fit when she uses it. Well, I want to tell you something, Pat. I'm I'm on day 16 or 7, I think day 16 today. And I want to tell you, I can feel the difference it's made in my body. And by the way, Pat, happy birthday on Wednesday, I think. Am I correct? It's your birthday on Wednesday? And the whole point that I'm trying to say is that you've got a choice. We know that, right? We've got choices. I can remain obese, or I can do something about it. Now, I assure you, every time that Weibo tells me that I'm obese, it's just like, but it's the truth. And I go, okay. And quite honestly, for 2 weeks, I've been bouncing like this and I haven't gone down. Why? Quite simple. I've been doing the exercise. Now, what people will tell me is you're building muscle, Sal, and that's heavy. It doesn't really matter. To me, I know I'm doing the right things. Now, I've also got to watch what I put into my mouth, obviously. But, this is like, I know that I'm doing the right things. I can see that my blood sugar is beginning to come down a little, which means if I continue to do the right things, it's also going to help my blood sugar come down more. So it's not about complaining about the wrong things. It's about what am I doing about it? And quite honestly, after they say that if you continue a new habit for 21 days, it'll become part of your routine. I don't think twice about having 2 cups of coffee in the morning. That's why I decided I'm going to slot the exercise in before the second cup and before I have a shower. Do you understand? It's like, I don't want to have to get all dressed up and then have that as an excuse. Well, I don't, I've got clean clothes on now. And I know it's called, okay, I'm still in my jammies. Oh, the dryer. I'm still in my jammies, having a heart attack. And therefore, I know it's going to be the same weight every morning as well. So part of to everybody is, what is it that you want to be doing, but you are not bothering to do it? That is your choice. All right. Now, Pat, I think it's amazing. You actually had the sleeve surgery done, I believe. Am I correct on that? I'm not sure what they called it. They call it the lap band here, or I know it has different names, different places. Right. And so, Pat, that was something that required that you make a really big decision and take a risk, but that the reward for it for you was greater than the risk, obviously. And so it was, about 6 months ago that you had that, maybe a year? I'm just trying to remember when that was. I had a feeling it was about this time last year now. But a year later, whatever this time span is, are you still glad you did it? And what is the greatest stress relief that you have had from having that surgery done? The reason I'm asking that is because sometimes we need to go through something that's challenging. Is it over 2 years now? Wow, Pat. And by the way, everybody, this beautiful quilt that's sitting behind me here, Pat did that. That's amazing that it's 2 years. It feels like 6 months to a year ago. Wow, that is amazing. So the reason I say that is because I know that Jody is coming up. She has done such a good job in losing over 100 pounds of weight that now she is being considered to get that done. And it's not elective. It's like now they want to help her. All right, so Pat says yes, and it's a relief because it stops me from overeating. Yeah. This is the whole thing that, aren't we lucky that we live in this day and age where they can do such a thing? I mean, that to me is the amazing thing to be grateful for. That and I was, some of you know that not too many weeks ago, my brother had a stent put into his arteries. And, it was just like, wow, aren't I grateful that in this day and age we can do that? Wow. So Pat's saying that with that surgery, she can only eat a cup at a time. And how long would that last for? It was a very brave move. I was so amazed that you did it. So you have about a cup of food every 3 hours. That's the difference. So if we want to lose weight in a healthy way, it's called eat a cup of food every 3 hours. Right? Doesn't matter what you eat, just have a cup of food every 3 hours. I'm trying to do more of that. I'm trying to do more little meals. My problem is it's every hour. I do pretty well not eating until about, for example, today I didn't eat until 2:30. But I've got a new trick that I do, and I don't know if any of you have tried this, but I actually make myself a healthier omelet now. When I say healthier, for example, today I threw in an egg, I threw in a slice of deli chicken, I threw in some tomatoes and some orange peppers, and blended it all up into, what really looked like just a scrambled egg mixture, right? And I just blend the whole thing up and then cook that. Now, for some reason, it is much easier to eat it and you're not aware of eating the vegetables or anything else. It just looks like, an interesting colored omelet. And I kept thinking, why didn't I know about this before? That I could have an omelet and that I could add protein to it, the slice of chicken, before. It would have caused me a lot less stress if I'd realized I could do that. The other thing is, I don't know if you guys do this, but once a week I will boil up some eggs. And when they're all boiled and drop them into an ice bath afterwards and all that sort of thing. But once they're done, I leave them in the shells, but I write on the shells what day I boiled them. So, I know I need to eat these up within the week, sort of thing. And I found that I'm now learning if I need a quick snack, it is a good idea, to go and get a boiled egg, because the protein in that will keep me filled. And so, again, is it stressful to change your eating habits? Absolutely. Is it difficult to only eat one cup of food every 3 hours? Yeah. But, the reason that we need a full plate of food is because we keep eating a full plate of food. And so part of what we need to do is to reduce, which is what portion control is all about. I am getting a lot better about, for example, I really wanted to not have to give up eating potato or pasta or rice. So my thing is that once a week I can have some pasta, and once a week I can have a potato or some potato. And what I do is I change the amount. And so, for example, this week when I cooked some pasta, I took probably half a cup of it, maybe a cup, a cup of it rather than 3 cups that I would have had in the past. But now I use 1 cup of pasta, but then I load the other side of the plate with vegetables and stuff. So to me, this is about these small changes will all start adding up. All right. And I know that, you know that. And to me, it's like, do you care enough about yourself to do what needs to happen? We're not all going to be able to do what Jodie did, which is drop 100 pounds in 6 months or something. That it was incredible. Hi, James. But it's like, do what you can do. Sandy, I'm delighted that you dug the we out and are starting to do it, because that to me is part of it. Now, I noticed that I don't know if any of you watched the first series of Virgin River. Now, that's one of those series on Netflix that I happened to come across, and by the time I'd finished the first episode, I binge watched everything else after that. And so, hi again, James. I'm sending you a hug. So the other thing that I noticed was that, when I finished the series, the first season, I'm going, boy, I hope they did a second season. Well, it's just come out. So guess what I did for stress release yesterday? I decided yesterday, they just came out with the second season, and I just sat down and I watched the second season from start to finish. And now, was that a waste of a day? I don't think so. No, I don't think so at all. I think it was a great way to relax. Oh, isn't that sweet? Well, James, I really like you too. And thank you for calling me a girl. That's, it feels very good to me. Thank you, James. Obviously a smart young man. So I would encourage you all to think about your goals and go, how much are you shooting yourself in the foot by your self-talk? You understand? How much are you actually shooting yourself in the foot by the negative self-talk that you're doing to yourself? For example, I could have talked myself out of doing the boxing or doing the slalom on the Wii just by going, that's difficult. I don't think I want to do that. And I went, no, that's difficult, so I need to do it. That's the difference. I've got some nice quotes here for Thanksgiving while we go along today. It's, I am grateful that I'll try that again. I'm grateful for what I am and have. My Thanksgiving is perpetual. How many of you agree that it is way healthier to give thanks every day? Way healthier to every day to decide, who am I going to write to and tell them I'm grateful they're in my life? Yeah, Jeannie's saying relaxing is beneficial to all of us. We push hard. Too hard, yes. And so this is like, I always have Saturday is my day off. It's not that I don't do anything for DearMamaSal. It's just I know that I'm okay if I don't. It's just like it's my day to do whatever I want to do, whenever I want to do it. How about this one? We should certainly count our blessings, but we should also make our blessings count. Again, I kept thinking, isn't that funny? Because the Wii is being discontinued, I managed to pick it up at a great price, secondhand, and somebody else's throw it away turns out to be my gold mine. And I think that is really important, that we need to look in terms of our stress-less life. We need to look at the things that we're tied into, that we think we've got to have new, more, whatever. And maybe that's not true. Maybe this is the time for us to say, maybe I'll pick up somebody else's secondhand. Yeah. Now, I'm always doing experiments. I constantly look at things and I go, how could I reduce the cost of that? And one of the things I was looking at is I think you all know, I use soft soap or bar soap to do the first soaping of my hair when I am in the shower. I don't use the expensive shampoos to do that. All right. A bar of soap works really well. And it just gets all the crud off it. And once it's, you can tell with the crud's off it because it starts to foam. And once it starts foaming, I go, okay, fine. Now the product is out. Now I can start washing my hair. Well, I suddenly thought to myself, well, I then use Head and Shoulders, antibacterial type Head and Shoulders, to wash my hair. And I thought, what if I use antibacterial soap? Because soft soap makes an antibacterial soap. And I'm going to try that. Because what I believe is, if my hair starts falling out, I'll let you know. But my sense is that I probably can save quite a bit of money on shampoo alone by making that swap. Yes, Jeannie managed to do something really great. She had a fire in her house as I had in mine, but Jeannie went out to go and get a new dining room set, but managed to find one secondhand for a fraction of the cost. And, great accomplishment. And I'm certain it feels new to you, which is, that is great. And I think, again, let's look at reusing, recycling, and saving money in different ways. I also wanted to know if any of you know why one side of aluminum foil is shiny and the other side isn't? It's amazing I can have lived this long, and I only found that out this week. Let's see if anybody knows. Why is one side of aluminum foil shiny, or aluminium foil if you happen to come from England? Why is one side shiny and the other side dull? Well, that's what I always thought. The shiny side is for heat reflection, but it's not the reason. The actual reason is about the other side, the dull side. Did you know that the dull side is coated and the dull side is non-stick? I didn't know that. I'm going to do some experiments this week to test it out. You know me, Pat, if I find out, I'll make sure I let you know. If you missed Friday evening's broadcast, it was filled with little bits of information like that. Now, the other thing that, because what happens to me, I see something and I go, why? And then I go and research it, because it's like, that's my joy in life, is to find things out. One of the things I asked why of, that I'm in a rented apartment, finished rented apartment with my quilts. But therefore everything is different. And including, I noticed that when the water comes out of the faucet, it's that cloudy, white cloudy thing. Do you all know what I'm talking about there? It doesn't come out crystal clear, which my water back at my house comes out crystal clear because it's straight out of the well. But it comes out that cloudy thing. But if you leave it a little while, it settles down and becomes clear again. Do you know what I'm talking about, or do I need to show you? So there has to be a reason for this. And what I've noticed is it is very prevalent in hotels, and obviously I'm in an apartment block. Okay, Pat knows. All right, share it, Pat. But I didn't know. And I knew there had to be a good reason. I just never bothered to check it out, what the why was. And it was just like, oh, I learned something this week again. And this is, we talk about the difference between living and existing. When you are still curious about things, when you still take the time to find out. Pat's saying, I find it more with hot water. Yes, but do you know why? Because to me, the why is interesting. And apparently, Pat, the reason is because the water goes in hot water. It gets compressed in the water heater. You know what I mean? It's like it's contained within the water heater and it's compressed, and then it gets released. Well, apparently, the cloudy thing is about that water with air in it being compressed to such a degree that when it actually comes out of there, it takes a while for that compressed water to just let the air out, and that's why it's cloudy. I hope I described that in a way that makes sense. So whenever you have that compressed water, right, that's when it's cloudy like that. And I go, well, isn't that? I never noticed that. I never knew the why. So if you want to check it out for yourself and see the diagrams and everything, go right ahead. But to me it was like, oh, that makes sense now. I understand that a lot better. I had no idea. But I got that mind that goes, I would like to know how and why. The same thing is, why did it take so little exercise for my body to get centered? I want you all to think about this. 3 months ago, I was limping badly with my left leg because of arthritis pain, limping significantly, enough that people said, what's wrong? As Jody so rightly said, in a way, the fire turned out to be a good thing for me. Why? I had to change mattresses. I had to get new shoes. What else was there? And I've started exercising differently. And you go, in 2 weeks, I went from being totally lopsided to the right side to almost being in perfect balance. I've got a lot of work still to do to maintain that and to strengthen everything up. But it's interesting to me, how many of you can get down on the floor and get back up again without any problem? If I said to you, get down on the floor and get back up again, how many of you could do that pretty well? The interesting thing that I knew was, at my age, when I tried to do yoga online, it would say, get on the floor, and then they'd start this exercise, and I go, hold on a second. Hold on a second. I haven't got to my knees yet, never mind on the floor, And by the time I got onto the floor, they'd finished the damn thing. So you understand. Do any of you relate to this? So now, what I've noticed is that the exercises that I have to do, some of them are floor exercises. And I started off by going, hey, I don't have to worry about that yet. I want to build my core strength standing, and then I will work on the get down on the floor. Well, I actually voluntarily did something where I got down on the floor this week, and I'm going, that's in week 2. I'm already down on the floor starting to do that. Pat's saying, most days I still need help putting on my socks. I have an answer for you, Pat. I found the answer to this, because any of us that are slightly overweight, that is an issue, right? Getting your socks on is an issue. Put them on while you are in the washroom. If you think about it, when you're sitting down in the washroom, if you know what I mean, you are already halfway to the floor. And your feet are much closer to you than if you're sitting on the bed or anywhere else. Does that make sense, Pat? So I take my socks with me, and that's when I put my socks on. And I no longer have that problem. The other thing is, it's a really good exercise place to practice when you're sitting there, to actually just bend right over and see how far you can bend while you're sitting there, right? Because that's part of what happens. As we age, the use of our bodies deteriorates from the legs up. So if we can keep our bodies supple, if we can keep the muscles working, and particularly in our legs, then our mobility lifespan, if you like, is going to be a lot longer. So now I'm working at, can you get up off the floor? Can you get down onto the floor and back up again? And if you can't, what are you going to do about it? Because one of the things that's really important is we all need to know we can get off the floor. So, because in case we fall. And I'm pretty sure you all could get up if you really had to. But the thing is, can you get up without crawling to a chair? See, that's the interesting thing. Can you do it without the help of a chair or something on which to lean? And that's going to be my new goal. And I've given myself, by the spring, I'd like to be able to do that quite easily. I don't need to do it by next week. I'm going to start working on it. Yes, Pat says, I'm okay as long as I have something to hang on to. Well, interestingly enough, Jody, let me tell you what I heard from my neighbor. Jody's saying, after my knees and shoulders are replaced, I'll be able to. Once you've had knee surgery, you're not allowed to kneel. Did you know that? I didn't know that. And so think about that, because you might almost do better, to do the exercises and get better mobility, rebuild some of those core muscles, and be able to kneel than have the surgery and not be able to do it. Now, I didn't know that either, but you may want to do a bit of research into that. Well, this is the whole point, Jody. That's Betty Ann, you're my neighbor at the house. She had the knee surgery, and she said, that's the one thing. Once you've had that surgery, you can't kneel anymore. Getting old is so much fun, isn't it, Pat? And we're not doing it gracefully. So again, all right, do a little bit of research, because maybe you can do it in an emergency, but not, you should do it as little as possible. Maybe that's what it is. So I would, both of you, Jody, have a look into that and let us know what you find out, because that's important to know. Well, or build the muscle strength so you don't need to have the operation. I don't know. To me, it's like I'm really doing everything I can right now to. Yoga's done. Sandy's done her yoga. Well done. Sandy, what I would recommend is that you do a rotation of things. All right. I don't know how many yoga exercises you've got now, but I try to do, one line of yoga, and then I go down one line of strength, one line of aerobics, and then one line of balance. You know what I mean? So I try to do a rotation of them. And so I look at it and I go, think about these things, right? None of us are aware of so many things. And that, to me, is what this is all about, right? We've got Pat, who is able to help Jody because she's been through the operation, and she can help Jody understand the pros and cons of it. But The other side, Pat, and this is something Jody mentioned to me, and maybe we can ask you while we've got you on board here today, which is how much money are you saving in food because you only eat a cup at a time now? I don't mean for the whole family, because obviously the family is eating as they used to, but how much do you reckon you are saving on food? Okay, so Sandy's saying yesterday was yoga, just 4 different poses. Yep. You see, that's the whole thing. I try and do a little of each every day because, but now, you've noticed this, Sandy, I now do half my time on aerobics now. Pat says she isn't actually saving that much money because what she's saving in food, she is drinking in wine. What I love about you is you are. Yeah, if I can't eat it, let me drink it. Yep. Well, Pat, that's what we love about you. One of the many things we love about you. And I think that is so delightfully honest. It's just like, yeah, I believe you. I totally believe you. And this is a lovely quote from Charlie Brown about Thanksgiving that says, "What if today we were just grateful for everything?" And I'd like to say, what if that were every day? What if we were just grateful for everything every day? Would we be happy people? Well done, Jeannie. Jeannie says that today I bought a big tub of margarine. You said get large size where you can, and it was on sale. That's exactly what I look for. You will be amazed how much money you can save. You're going, I need margarine. I would normally buy a tub this size, but the bigger one is on sale, and I actually can get it for, probably a little bit more than the little one, right? That amazes me. A 10-kilo bag of flour, 10-pound bag of flour. Where is it? Yeah, a 10-pound bag of flour doesn't cost that much more than a 1 pound or 2 pound. Right. And so, yes, and you can freeze it. And not only that, Pat, I buy the basil olive one, and that I keep in the freezer because even when it's in the freezer, you can still scoop it out. Yep. So look at this and go, buying the bigger one. All right. So, for example, I bought the antibacterial. Okay. Hang on a second. And I haven't checked this out, but this is the big size of Head and Shoulders that I would normally buy. And I'm going, I bet you I didn't pay any more to buy this much of antibacterial soap. So to me, it's like, if you've got to buy anything, whether it's flour or, if you're going to buy cereal, don't get the small one, get the big one. Because it is going to be cheaper for you. And every one of those little hacks that we do is going to save us more money so that we'll be able to buy more meat because, the price of meat is insane now. And it's going to get worse. We know that. If you're going to buy Kleenex, right? Don't buy a box, buy 10. Oh, interesting. Jeannie's saying she's trying to get more fruit into her diet. Green grapes, watermelon today. Yes. The other thing is, Jeannie, for just the two of you, you know, it's difficult because fruit goes off very quickly unless you buy the hard fruits. So, you know, I found, and I was talking about this the other day, I found that I think about the fruit and the order in which it will spoil. Raspberries don't last more than a day or so. So after I bought it, after one day, I freeze whatever I haven't used in the first day. Grapes you can freeze, but I also keep a bag of frozen fruit in the freezer, a big bag. Why? I waste far less fruit having frozen fruit. And when I want to, you know, have some fruit with my yogurt or something, I will just pull out half a cup and let it sit on the countertop while I'm cooking. And I've got, yeah, frozen fruits are really, and it's really good value for money. And if you get the blend, mine has peaches, blackberries, strawberries in it, I think. But you know, you can, if you just want strawberries, you can just pull out the strawberries. You know, it's like you can get creative. You don't have to have it all mixed up. And sometimes I'll just bring out the peaches and have it with my yogurt. So really good idea to do that. And well done, Jeannie, that you are doing. Yes, you like mango and peaches, right? So everybody's got their own favorites, and that's fine. But be aware of the sugar content, because I'm amazed how many of them have way more sugar in than I realize. Fruit we think is healthy, but it's also packed full of sugar. Mayor Angelou said, be present in all things and thankful for all things. I want to say that being present, to focus on this moment in this day, is one of the best ways to stop yourself stressing. In other words, you know, we know the story. If you're concentrating on the past, you're probably going to end up in depression. If you are concentrating in the future, you're probably going to have anxiety attacks. Thank you, Jody. I didn't expect you to do that, but isn't that interesting? Jody's saying that the large bottle of Head and Shoulders is basically $12.50 in Canadian, okay? And that is for 400 milliliters, which is a pint, is it? But this, Jody's telling me, is only $5.47 for 1.47 liters. This is $1.47. That's what it is. Well done, Jody. Exactly what it is. Look at the difference. $12.50, $5, $5.50. Save a lot of money. Sandy's asking, how long does canned coconut milk last in the fridge? I have had it in the fridge for a week without a problem, I think. But again, you might want to use what you want for this today, or put it in the freezer in the amounts that you want. If you know you use quarter of a cup, then and put quarter cups into small bags and put them in the freezer so you can do that. I'm actually surprised that have you ever had coconut cream, where they make the cream out of the coconut milk? That actually is surprisingly tasty. And the other thing is that cream actually is not that bad for you. Jody will confirm that. You use about a cup every other day. Yes, so if you know the small snack size baggies, Sandy? So if you put, all right, Pat, good to see you. Thanks for popping in, and big hug to Bill, please. If you put, into the small snack size bag, that's a cup. So you could actually, just put some in baggies in your freezer. I'd buy the bigger can and then do that. I do that with my bacon, for example. I'll buy a big bag of bacon and then I wrap it up in two rashers at a time and then freeze it with just 2 rashers. So I don't have to cook all of it at once, but I literally just pull out 2 out of the freezer. Thank you, Jody. Jody agrees with me, 5 to 7 days in the fridge, but she's saying it's best to freeze it in ice cube trays. Good idea. I always do that with if I've got leftover spaghetti sauce or something, I always freeze the leftover in ice cube trays or in snack size baggies. See, I love it when we help one another like this. It's how we all learn, right? Isn't it amazing? Did anybody have any unusual stress over Thanksgiving, just so we can talk about it? If anybody wishes to do that, please feel free. In the meantime, Amy Grant said, Thanksgiving Day is a good day to recommit our energies to giving thanks and just giving. One of the things that I know for me was my mental health really shifted when my life wasn't all about me. You know what I mean? When I was busy doing things for other people, not just for me. And I would like to say that if any of you, 2 things. Number one, if you're depressed, the chances are you spend a lot of your thinking time in the past, all right? What should have happened, or this is what happened to me, and this is why I am like I am today. Okay, it's gone. Can't change it. You can change what you do today. And the other thing is, if you're spending too much time worrying about tomorrow, that causes anxiety. So again, think about that. I'm going to go back to the example of the exercise thing. That first day, I knew that the intelligent mental health way to go about it was to say that exercise is not easy to do, and that's quite normal. That's why you're doing this. So all you need to know is how bad are you right now? That's what you're trying to do, is to find out how unstable are you. And, that's a benchmark. That's all your job is to find out where do you rank right now. Because a month from now, it's going to look very different. And that is inspiring and it's motivating. But if I go, oh no, that's really difficult, and I haven't got the rhythm to be able to go backwards and forwards and do that boxing thing, or I can't go side to side, my left side isn't working as well. What I didn't say that. I said, okay, I need a lot of work on that, obviously, because I haven't got all those things going together. My mind wasn't able to step and think and go sideways, you know what I mean, and do rhythm. It was just like, no, 2 of those maybe, but all 3 of them together, it's a bit like the first day you drive a car. And if you think back on that, and I think most of my viewers do drive, if you think back on that, can you remember when you first got in a car and you said, wait a minute, I've got to watch the road, be aware of what's going on around me, and indicate and do this, and all at the same time? That's not possible. And yet, a year later, it's second nature. Isn't it amazing? So I read a study somewhere, and I can't remember where it was, and I would really like to look at it again. One of the best things that as we age, one of the best things we can do is make sure we spend time every day playing the video games that make you think, all right? So the word games, or the games that require matching up things or doing stuff, very important. Why? It's keeping both sides of the brain working. And that, if we spend, I don't know if you guys do it, but I try to make sure that every day I spend at least half an hour playing something that's going to challenge my brain like that. I'm doing at the moment something, I think it's called the Einstein puzzles, where it's all that logic stuff. You know, the guy in the green hat does not eat corn, you know, but you've got all the other guys and you've got to work out which is the guy wearing the green hat. And if you find out who that is, you know, it's like, it's multifaceted. I was not good at that. And I always wanted to be good at doing that. And I challenge myself now to do at least, you know, half an hour a day of trying to do that much logic thinking. Because the more you use your brain, the more it will work for you. The less you use it, you know, this is the whole thing. Why do I encourage people who are struggling with stress to be creative? Because it's really amazing what being creative does to slow you down. All right, so Jeannie's saying, I had a bad accident when I just got my driving permit. I punished myself by not driving for years. I finally took lessons until I got the courage to take my driver's test. Got the license the first time. See, it's like, and look at Manon. And for those of you who know Manon, who's one of our viewers in France, delightful. She came to visit me, and it was one of the highlights of my DearMamaSal life. And, you know, she had depth perception problems, and she really struggled where driving instructors wouldn't even take her because of her depth perception problems. And, you know, the interesting thing was that I told her, don't you dare quit. You just need to get the right instructor and you'll do it. And she did. And to me, that was so exciting that she didn't quit on herself. And she did, you know, when she went through about 4 or 5 different instructors, but eventually she found one that spoke her language, you know, in terms of logic. And then she was fine. And then she went ahead and she passed a test. Yes, Sandy, use it or you will lose it. And that's why it's a really important thing to know. I'm pretty sure I've had people say to me, wow, at your age, you're starting to do things on the Wii. And I'm going, yeah. And I actually will probably buy up quite a few things, because to me, it's like it requires thinking and movement at the same time. And that's got to be good. You know, I'm not sitting down playing video games from the couch. I'm up doing something. And, you know, the sad thing, I think, is that when I play tennis or table tennis on my Wii, it's not counting as points towards Wii Fit, which is what I would have preferred. And age is just a number, Jeannie is saying. So, Jeannie, I'm pretty certain if I had said to you 18 months ago, you are going to be able to deal with the stress of your whole house burning down and rebuilding it and refilling it with furniture. I am pretty certain, Jeannie, that you would have rolled your eyes at me and went, yeah. You know, but you know, life showed you that you're capable. I made a decision, Jeannie. I don't know about what you're doing, but I gave some serious thought to whether I want to go to my house, go through my storage shed and try and find my Christmas tree and all the ornaments, get it all into my car, huck it all the way to where I'm now living, then huck it up 4 floors on my, oh, by the way, walk it half a block in the car park, because, you know, my car is parked half a block away from where the elevator is. And then try and get it into the elevator by myself, right? Because we're in pandemic, I can't call on people to come and help me. And then put it all up, only to take it all down in a couple of weeks. I went, you know something? Who's going to be visiting me at Christmas? So this is about, could you live without Christmas decorations this year? And could the viewers live without your Christmas tree in the background this year? I think so. I'm pretty darn sure that you would totally understand that. And it's just like, now, will some people judge me for that? I am sure they will. Do I care? Not really. Makes sense. It's like, what I want to be stress-free. So, I look at it and go, this is my choice, nobody else's. Yes, and Jeannie's saying that a friend is giving her 2 small trees. Yeah, excellent. Now, here's another question I have about Thanksgiving. How many of you enjoy pie at Thanksgiving? Be it pumpkin pie or apple pie, whatever. Because if you think about it, part of the reason we love Thanksgiving meals is A, that we eat as much as we care to, and we have seconds and sometimes thirds. But, it's also the little things like the pie. And I would like to suggest that, what about baking a pie and cutting it up into small enough pieces that you can have some pie on a regular basis without it affecting your diet too much. Why? Because pie is comfort food. And to me, this is what I am beginning to realize more and more. It's not that we can't have these things. It's just we can't have 3 slices. We can have a little bit. If you have this much pie, it's not going to do you a whole lot of harm. Okay? And you can even put some cream on top, and it's not going to do you that much harm. But if you have 3 slices with ice cream and whatever, that's not good for you. And the other thing is, Jody has taught me, this idea of think about what you eat and when. I now found out that my sourdough bread freezes beautifully. I can literally bake a loaf, slice it up, wrap the slices in foil, and freeze them. And then I just bring out 2 slices at a time. I'm not wasting any bread anymore. And the other thing is, because it's wrapped in the foil and it defrosts in the foil, when I open it up, it's just like fresh bread, like I've just baked it. Okay, Jeannie's saying, I love pie, but I'm not a great pie maker. I cook well, but not such a good baker. This is a great time to be practicing. All right? So, this is the thing I'm saying to Jeannie. You want to become a good pie maker, you're going to need to start making pies. It's like the reason you're not a great pie maker is you don't do enough. Think about that. Jody's saying, in terms of my comment about Christmas, she says, we're here for you, not your Christmas decorations. Right, we're here for you, not your Christmas decorations. Thank you. Less stress is important. Your smile is brighter than a string of Christmas lights anyway. How beautiful is that? And by the way, I was thinking about that today, in case any of you don't know this. I think I did mention it once years ago, but I thought I'd mention it again. It's a makeup pack. What lipstick have I got here? Okay. So here's a really, and it's especially good for Christmas time, festive time. Okay, so if you put your lipstick on, okay, that's really easy. Any color you like. But then you've probably got contour type stuff, right? This is what I think this originally started with Marilyn Monroe. But take your highlighter. This is gold. Got it? And just put it in the center on the bottom. Okay. Can you see the difference already? And then, of course, if you want to, you can then put your lip gloss on top of it. And see what it does? It really highlights that center part of your lipstick. Hi, Hertot, good to see you. And it's a great idea for the holidays. The other thing is, just before, another thing that I'm pretty sure you probably all do, but take that contour and just before you leave home, just touch there and a little bit extra here, and then just put a quick dusting of your finishing powder over it. And as you know, I always smile when I put mine on, because that tells me where I need to put the highlight. Okay, makes sense? But then I dust it normally. I haven't got it, my dusting powder here. But then I would blend it in. Why am I doing this makeup today? I don't know. But anyway, this thing about putting just that bit of gold onto your lipstick is amazing, the difference that it makes. And it saves you a lot of money on, extra lipsticks. So I thought I would give that a mention as well. Willie Nelson said, when I started counting my blessings, my whole life turned around. So if I spend my time, or Jeannie spends her time, thinking about, oh, it was so nice in my beautiful home, I wish I were back there, and it's never going to be the same again, and I'm going to be depressed. Make sense? Now, if I spend my days going, well, I'm not sure if I'm going to like all the tiles that they give me options on, or I won't like the bathroom fixtures they want to put in, or I'm not going to like the wallpaper they choose. If I'm worried about all that stuff, that I'm going to be anxious. But, I just have to cope with today. What am I doing today? I'm going to find out how to open this bottle. It really does not want to open. Now, you see, if I were at home, I would go get my pliers and I would open it, or my bottle opener special thing that I've got, but I don't have those because I'm not at home. So this is going to require a little bit of work. But I will manage it. Worst comes to the worst, I'll be going outside and finding the first strong person, going, can you open this for me? People. So now then, I was thinking about this whole thing. There's going to be a lot of stress around Christmas and getting presents for everybody. I am pretty sure that everybody this Christmas will understand. Yes, I was going to put it under hot water, Jeannie. That was exactly what I was going to do. I think everybody's going to understand. I am actually I think I'm just going to make some chocolates, homemade chocolates, and do small things, a couple of cookies, even though some people are much better bakers than I am. And I'm just going to go, I made the effort. It's not as much as I would like, but I made the effort. I think I will probably do one run to the dollar store to pick up stuff that I can add to it, in terms of plates or something like that. But I'm not going to do a whole lot. Kez is saying, hi, everyone. You could get a small pop-up tree. Oh, I got a pie maker that makes 4 small pies. I need to start using it and need to get back to snacking on crunchy veggies. Yeah, something, Kez? You need to, it's like, do you choose to? I know you need to. I need to too. But do you choose to? See, when you stop the guilt trip is I need to do it. You understand the difference it does to your psyche when you say, I choose to do it. The same as I was talking to whoever it was on Friday about exercise. And I said, you know, if I paid you $1 million to exercise for half an hour, would you do it? And the answer for most people is, of course. And that means that you do it for money, but you wouldn't do it for yourself. All right. And so to me, this is like, think about it. The reason I do 15 or 30 minutes of exercise every morning now is because I want to. I choose to. Not because anybody's telling me I have to. It's because I choose to. Yeah, and Jeannie's saying, you know, go to the dollar store, it has great mugs, put in hot cocoa, whatever. Yes, I think I can do other things. I will make some coffee coasters and things because I've got the stuff here now. I just need to buy more paint. That's why I need to go to the dollar store quickly. But, you know, quite honestly, I'm not doing a whole lot. And also all the stuff that I would normally do stuff with is in storage. So, and I don't want to have to rebuy everything. And even I tried to order up something from Amazon, and guess what? It's not going to arrive until mid-December. And I'm going, I've already ordered it. It's not coming until mid-December. It'll be too late. So, yeah, never mind. Plan B. So I'm not going to worry too much about it. How about this one? If the only prayer you ever say in your entire life is thank you, it will be enough. So take that moment and think about every day being Thanksgiving. Think about every night going to bed and giving thanks for what you had today. You know, I might not be able to open this bottle yet, but I'm glad to have it. It will be opened. I'm on a mission. How many of you going if necessary? You know, because it will open, I can assure you. And I had a situation where I needed something. I needed a funnel, and I don't have a funnel where I am here. And I'm going, come on, Sal, plan B. So what did I use? I had I had a little plastic thing that mandarin oranges came in. You know, it's like this size. And I punched a hole in the bottom of it with a steak knife and made a thing. So this is my new funnel. You see, if you want to do it, you can. Well, Jeannie's saying people should feel kind towards us having lost items. I'm not sure whether they should, because I think should is a guilt word. I know that my friends do. My friends really have said, "Sal, don't even worry about it." And you know, one of my very best friends, every Christmas, she does not go and spend she will go and buy a really nice thing of honey for me, or a really nice something. It's not a big present. It's not, spending $100 or something. It's just something that she knows I need and will eat. Kez is saying, I love your honesty, Kez, because it helps everybody, because they can relate. Kez is saying, I do eat vegetables, but not enough. I mainly eat white potatoes, pre-made freezer products. Think about this one, Kez. Have you ever made yogurt cheese? This is my new go-to. Saves me a whole stack of money on buying cream cheese. and what I'm waiting for the answer. It's really nice with raw vegetables, is the reason I'm saying it. So literally all I do is every night I put some yogurt in a coffee filter and let it drip, right? Because you want the excess moisture to drip out of it. And what it leaves is like a yogurt cream cheese. And I mix cinnamon and cranberries in with it. And I use that as my dip. Because you save an awful lot of money and you will be much healthier if you start to cook. Yes, and Jeannie's saying in the past I've sometimes made cheese balls, and I'm thinking, that I might make some of those, and put them in little containers or something, because very tasty, and it's just that you spent the time, that you thought to do it. So what I really recommend is that you all think about not how you're going to impress everybody, but just how, what can I do that shows that I cared, but I don't have to overdo it this year? I don't think anybody is going to be overdoing it this year, quite honestly. I think we've got bigger things to worry about. And William Faulkner said that gratitude is similar to electricity. It must be produced and discharged and used up in order to exist at all. So remember that part of what we're going through is how many of you are genuinely grateful that you made it through to Thanksgiving? How many of you will be genuinely grateful if you make it through to Christmas? And this is what I'm concentrating on. I'm concentrating on, the circle of people who have got COVID is getting closer to me now. Have any of you noticed that? Whereas 2 months ago, nobody in my extended family had a problem with COVID. Now, the people I know have people with COVID in their lives. And so it's changing. It's going to get worse before it gets better. So to me, every single day that I wake up healthy, or even not healthy, but without COVID, is a good day. I'm very grateful. How about this? Give thanks for a little, and you will find a lot. Yeah, Sandy, you've been in lockdown since February, right? Am I correct in that? That you went into lockdown in February and you have stayed in lockdown, which I have to the large part. I very rarely go out. I go out maybe once a week because I have to. But I've stopped going out for dinner or anything like that now. And this is the other thing. We have to make these choices. Jeannie's saying, I'm grateful we did not need to travel far for Thanksgiving. I'm thankful for friends calling and checking in. Yes. And how many of you found out that part of the pandemic gift is you know who your friends are? Because they still care. They still call you. And are you that friend? I would think that this season, it is more important that we keep in touch with one another than ever before. Right, and so Sandy's saying, yes, except for a lab appointment and to see my mom at a distance in the summer before she left. Exactly, so even then, all right, you didn't break the social distancing to say goodbye to your mom. So you look at it, Sandy, that's taken incredible discipline. And, you have overcome a lot of possible excuses. And I applaud you for how careful you have been to keep your family safe. I really do. Jody, I know it has cost you dearly emotionally because your family members do not understand why you're being so careful. And to me, this is like, you've done the right thing to protect you and Lionel. The fact nobody else understands it, it's difficult. But, you've done a great job of keeping control of that. And so I look at it and go, each of us is going to make our own decisions. And there will always be stupid people. Yeah, end of story. You know, there will always be some smart people. And by the way, just because they're stupid doesn't mean we have to hate them. When I say stupid, but the ones that choose not to believe that there is a pandemic, those that choose to believe that, whatever. Yes, and Sandy's saying, thank you. Yes, I get a lot of flack over it. Of course you do. So this is the whole point. Thanks, Jeannie. Good to see you. So I look at it and go, you are responsible for your life. And I think some of you have done a great job. And Jody's saying, I fear that there's been irreparable damage to those relationships, but safety comes first. Yes, and that would be their choice, not yours. The same thing is, I've got similar stuff going on. Yeah, and Sandy's saying, I have people in my family who say it's just a flu, blah, blah, blah. Yep, it is just a flu, killer flu. Yeah. Now, all flus can be killers, but this is more deadly than most, right? And so, anybody, I really, those people who say it's just a flu, yeah, go into the ICU and see how many people have got it in the ICU. Yeah, go visit your local ICU. And by the way, the other thing is this. When Uncle Fred has his heart attack, the ICU might not be available because it's filled up with people with the flu, blah, blah, blah. See, it's not just that you might get it. It's about how many beds is that taking up? Critical ICU beds that will not be available for maybe your grandmother or your mother or Sal, right? You've got to think about that. This is a ripple effect. So to discount it and say, well, it's just the flu, have a look. If it's just the flu and it's not dangerous, why are the ICUs so busy? Right? Are they making that up? Are they putting people onto ventilators because they've got nothing else to do with their time? I don't think so. I really don't think so. I think they're on ventilators because if they weren't on them, they'd die. But blah, blah, blah. Sandy, don't worry about it, honey. And yes, you will get a lot of flack for it. And Jody's getting a lot of flack for it. I'm getting a lot of flack for it. I actually said to somebody this week, I may not go anywhere for Christmas. I might not go to Dougie's. I might just stay put and stay on my own for Christmas. I'm really seriously considering it. And is it now? The one place I might go is to Betty Ann. That because I know how careful she is. So to me, I've got to think about it and go, really? Now, does it mean that I will not talk to my friends and say, no, of course not. Of course, I'll talk to them. And of course, I'll tell them how much I care and how sorry I am. But I really am scared. And it's okay. It's my life. I'd like to be here for next Christmas. What about you guys? So I'm not going to stress out too much. I'm going to make the decision for me and keep to my decision and not worry about it. Because that's my right. And if you want to judge me and if you want to hate me for it, that's your right. Wow, Sandy's saying we're now getting reports that my dad may have had COVID. Yes, he was taken from you very quickly. Yes, that's very possible. And that is something else that that is, both sides of that, Sandy. What I'm also hearing from people like my brother is, oh no, now they're saying anybody who gets pneumonia, it's COVID. Anybody who gets this, it's COVID. I'm going, yeah, maybe it is. It's just like, maybe if they hadn't had COVID, they wouldn't have died from it. So let's do the best we can, all right? And remember, live each day. I'm going to have great joy finding out how to open this bottle. And then, I'm going to have, not have to, I'm going to choose to have some salted caramel. I'm also thinking the things I can add salted caramel to. I'll be doing a bit of research into that. I could have a Zoom on Christmas Day, exactly. And so these sort of things, these are all choices that we make, right? So stay safe. I agree with you, Sandy. Stay safe, everybody. And by the way, stay as safe as you want to be. Don't worry about everybody else, right? Do what you need to do for you. I thank you for being here and looking after one another. Work really hard at looking at your stress levels and going, how do I reduce my stress level? Do I really need to go and unpack my try and find my Christmas tree in my storage shed? And goodness knows where my Christmas decorations are, because that they're all in boxes somewhere in that shed that is solid of boxes. And I haven't got people to help me anymore. And so to me, this is like, why would I do that to myself? All right? Maybe I will get just a little Christmas tree and put it right here. But maybe I won't. And I've got a small one in the shed. Why would I spend the extra money? It's like I haven't got the extra money this year. So why worry about it? I look at it and go, we can do this together, people. Let's keep doing the right things. Kez, all or nothing on the vegetables. How about you just say one snack a day, I'm going to have some fresh vegetables and a dip. One snack. Maybe I do it when I first sit down to watch television. I allow myself, so many crackers with cream cheese as a snack. All right, and with vegetables. That's, one of my meals is that. So think about that. You can do this. Just get it in part of your routine. This is DearMamaSal saying, we're going to have as much stress as we choose to not be in the present. Stay in the present and your stress will be less. Don't worry about what you haven't been able to fix. Don't worry about what you didn't do last week. Don't worry about what's coming up next week. Worry about, what do I want to do today? What's the next step I can take today? And that's all I need to do. This is DearMamaSal saying, well done, everybody. We made it through another week. And for that, I am so thankful. And I am so thankful that you're here too. This is DearMamaSal saying, love you. Bye-bye for now. Maybe if I can find the bit that I have to hit. We'll see you next week.